I actually grew up in social housing, and I always remember being embarrassed as a young person, keeping it to myself at school, not talking about being on benefits or free school meals. And it's something I found myself hiding a lot. But as I grew older, I became more proud of it. It was there when we needed it. Our family was in need of those services, and it provided a safe space for us. Looking back, it was a lovely place where we lived. We were very lucky to have got one of those houses that were in high demand. And it provided just the right amount of security for us. And looking back, it was one of those things where I'm not even sure why I was embarrassed. You know, it's genuinely something that can be so helpful for so many communities and so many families and so many people. I'm grateful for where we stayed and grateful that we had that opportunity, because I don't know what would have been the other option for us. It was just the right amount of security, the right amount of help at the right time in our lives. As I grew older, I actually took pride and talked more about where we grew up and what we grew up and how we were helped as young people, because it shows that you can come from any background and still go on to do whatever you want, whether it's a job that you've been aspiring to do since a young age, or a new career that you found, or even a passion, a sport. Your background, your house, your place of living, your financial status doesn't necessarily determine where you'll go and what you'll do. And that's something I'm really proud of as I grow, helping out and going back into the communities that I used to live within and that I was raised within, in those social housing sort of communities and neighbourhoods. At a young age, unfortunately, my mum and dad, they split up. There were some issues there. Dad was a businessman, made some financially irresponsible decisions. We ended up having to file for bankruptcy, and mum and dad split up. Dad went off, and it was me, my sister, and my single mum raising us. So for us, it was really difficult being able to handle all that and cope with all that without a father being on the scene. And again, moving into those social housing was just the perfect support that we needed, especially being in a poor financial position. You know, don't get me wrong, there was people a lot worse off than us, and we were so grateful for what we did have. When we were living in these houses, you know, as soon as you moved in, the neighbourhood got together. Everybody sort of welcomed you in. It was quite nice in that sense. I always talk about how we grew up on these council houses, is what we used to call them. What I really like living it is LHB and changing it to neighbourhoods, which just feels great. It just feels so much more friendly, and it feels deserving of those places. Those people should be calling them neighbourhoods, and they are neighbourhoods, because when we moved in, you weren't afraid to go and ask for some milk or some help. You know, the people next door were our babysitters and our friends, and we called people aunties and uncles that lived across the road. And it really was that sense of community. So neighbourhood just fits that so much better than council estate. So I started Be Great Fitness at 17 in the middle of a global pandemic. It took me back to that place where I was 14 and I was out of education. Didn't get on too well because of my raising. I actually had to take a year out of school. And during that year, I developed anxiety and put on a little bit of weight and lost myself. I felt like I needed to change something. I was in this rut, this pit, and something needed to change. So I started the business at 17. We just put on these free Zoom sessions all throughout the pandemic. And for me, it was so rewarding. I finally felt like that was what I wanted to do. I went to a place called E-Factor to try and get my business sorted and to make sure that we can run and grow and help more people. So E-Factor helped me massively. Charities got in touch and asked us to run more projects. MS, Parkinson's, Children in Need, Active Hunger. We were running projects that would make fitness accessible to over 130 women. We were creating safe spaces for groups of women to exercise within. We were working in schools with children with behavioural issues and care homes with people with dementia and lack of mobility. We all want to make fitness and sport accessible to everybody. We're in the schools, we're in the care homes, we're in the community, and that's what's so important. Our mission is powerful, and it's a mission that's going to grow as our team grows with it.